All right, more guidelines coming in for Unlock 1.0. Maharashtra now next. We understand the phase 1 in June, on June 3rd, we believe. We understand that in Maharashtra now people jogging, walking, etc. will be allowed. We understand that phase 2 in Maharashtra will start from 5th of June, and that's related to shops opening on odd even days. We understand the odd even formula for shops on either side of the lane, and inter-district transport will be allowed in second phase. Schools, however, will remain closed along with salons and barbershops as well. Let's go across to Kajal Iyer for more on this. Kajal, more and more states coming out with their own version of the guidelines now. What are the big takeaways from the Maharashtra guidelines?
The first thing that they have allowed, of course, is jogging, walking, exercising between 5 a.m. and 7 p.m. And this is the first phase in Maharashtra that starts on the 3rd of June. So yes, those looking forward to a walk on Marine Drive or Shivaji Park can do that after the 3rd of June. June 5th is the second phase, and this relates to shops that are to be opened at every place except the containment zones. And here it is going to be decided that in marketplaces, shops on one side will be of the road will be open on odd days, and shops on the other side of the road will be open on even days. The interesting part also is that the Maharashtra government is calling this notification Mission Begin Again, rather than Unlock 1.0, which has become the popular term since yesterday. So they have made it very clear that the mission here for the state government is to revive the economy. In containment zones, of course, the restrictions will continue, just as the central government had said. Inter-district bus travel has not yet been permitted. A separate order is expected to be issued for that. Plumbers, electricians, and other self-employed people are also allowed to function.
All right, let's take a detailed look at the Maharashtra guidelines. My colleague Meghna Deka joining us as well on the big screen. Meghna, let's take our viewers through what the Maharashtra guidelines say.
Well, absolutely. This is the entire list of guidelines which have now been put in motion. Kajal Iyer managed to get this for us. So, the phase 1 of Mission Begin Again, that's what the Maharashtra government is calling it, Mission Begin Again. Phase 1 begins from the 3rd of June. As Kajal was mentioning, outdoor physical activities are going to be allowed, however, with caveats as expected. After all, it's one of the worst hit COVID states. Now, it is going to be allowed between 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. No group activity is going to be permitted. People are advised to stay outdoors only for the purposes of physical activities for limited duration of time, and no other activity is permitted. Several such caveats are in place. In addition to that, there are activities related to the self-employed people such as plumbers, electricians, pest control technicians. Social distancing norm as well as usage of masks, of course, is going to be very, very important. However, they are allowed to now resume this activity. Also, garages to mend vehicles are allowed going to be open. However, of course, there are several such caveats that prior appointments need to be taken. All government offices, excluding the emergency health, medical treasuries, all of these are going to be functioning as well. However, they will function with only 15% strength or the minimum 15 employees, whichever is more. Phase 2, now this is what's going to begin from the 5th of June, and in this document it tells us how all market areas, market shops are all going to be open. However, it's going to be on P1, P2. Essentially, shops on one side of the road are going to be open and the other side is going to be closed. On odd days, on even days, they are going to switch. In addition to that, the use of trial rooms in the shop will not be permitted. Shopkeepers will be responsible for social distancing. People are going to be advised to walk, to use cycles. For shopping in these neighborhoods, for long distance, non-essential items will not be permitted. In addition to that, the movement of people is going to be allowed in a phased manner. So cabs, taxis, aggregators are going to be one driver plus 2 passengers. In a rickshaw, it again will be one rickshawala and 2 people. In a four-wheeler, there's going to be 1 plus 2 other passengers. So there is a list of what is going to be allowed. Finally, in third phase, which is going to be 8th of June, which is next Monday onwards, all private offices can also operate with 10% strength as per the requirements. Of course, everything is going to come with a caveat that social distancing norms are going to be strictly followed. In the rest of the state, except the areas covered in clause 6, remember, when it comes to containment areas, there the stricter norms are going to continue no matter what. So essentially, Athar, it is the financial engine of the country, as it is called.
Right.
It's important that Mumbai limps back to normalcy so that the rest of India too can recover.
All right, let's go back to Kajal for a bit here. Kajal, given the fact that Maharashtra is the worst affected state by far in the country, and there are certain sections who've targeted the Aghari government, particularly the charge, of course, being they haven't been able to really respond to the COVID crisis in Maharashtra, and they've bungled it and so on and so forth. Do you see, if you go by a cursory look at these guidelines, are they vastly different or divergent from what the MHA had said? Because Maharashtra, of course, has special cases like clusters like Dharavi, etc. Do you think that there's a vast deviancy, so to say, from the MHA broad guidelines?
Not really, but yes, there are certain things that they have actually taken care of. For example, the demand for fitness-related outdoor activities had been there for a long time in Maharashtra, and while it was somewhat allowed in the orange and green zones, it wasn't allowed in the rest of the state. And this particular notification gives allowance for that. But the main things that we had expected would remain shut are remaining shut. For example, all sorts of public transport with respect to the trains and the inter-district buses. We had expected that those would continue to remain shut, given the fact that a lot of districts in Maharashtra also have said that people coming from Mumbai have infected the rest of the places, rest of the people here. So they are going to continue restraining travel as much as possible, and that is as per the guidelines of the center itself to protect other regions from the red zones.
Kajal, please stay on with us. We have certain callers calling in right now on the same story. First caller is from Mumbai, MK Loyolka. Ms. Loyolka, please go ahead.
Yes, I want to know about the Maharashtra Unlock 1.0, especially with respect to offices and industries. Are they open for the MIDC industrial zones?
All right, we'll put that question to Kajal. Please hold on for a second. Before I take that question, we'll take a question from Sukhdev in Dehradun. Sukhdev, go ahead, please.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, I would like to say that this government is not performing at all. It is failed on all the fronts. So, there should be a pleasant rule in my viewpoint.
Sir, which government would that be, sir?
That is Aghari government.
Okay. That's your opinion, sir. Thank you for calling in. Sukhdev thinks the government has been woefully short of the response there. Kajal, I don't know if you heard Mr. Loyolka's question about industrial zones being opened up. Do we have information on that?
Except for containment zones, the industrial activities have already been allowed in most of the non-urban areas, so to say. So it has already started. In fact, close to 65,000 industries had started even in these industrial areas, was the last message that had come from the Maharashtra government, and that was about a week ago. So I'm expecting that more industries would have restarted. Of course, the actual on-ground situation is also skewed a little bit because a lot of migrants have left from these industrial township areas.
Also, Kajal, many viewers would like to know, it's not just a migrant exodus we've seen from Mumbai. There are also those who perhaps had jobs or were asked to stay home. They're not really migrant laborers, but there's also a mini exodus of sorts of people who actually work in Mumbai. What's the situation on that, and how is industry there, offices, as well as people who employ these individuals, how are they going to cope up with it? Does the government have any plans for that?
This is a real concern. In fact, this was raised by several industry bodies also, that they will not be able to open up despite being given permissions, especially because they will find it difficult to have employees and labor coming to them. What the Maharashtra government has said is that they're going to start an employment bureau to tackle this crisis, and they will try to match those registered with their employment agencies, the government employment agencies, to the need of the industry. Whether or not this will actually end up fulfilling the entire need, that is something we'll have to wait and watch.
Okay. All right. Kajal Iyer, thank you for your inputs on the story, and thank you to all the callers who called in. We'll take a